Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 70 of the Seezus Show. Another fun-filled week. I'm excited to discuss these hottest topics in the NBA. It's been a really, really good week, very productive week, very, just very overall productive, man. No complaints at all. I'm happy of everything I'm doing, taking baby steps to get to the destination. Well, it's a journey. Not the destination itself, but yeah, excited to share some, some updated content with you guys as well too. So I kind of, want to kind of get into it right now. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my co-host Trade Day XXIV.
What's good, people? How's it popping? Hey, happy MLK Day. You already know, man. Big strides, big things to come with a spirit of togetherness and with a spirit of overcoming any obstacle and adversity. But hey, we here with the NBA topics. Let's get into them. You already know.
Definitely, let's get into them as well too. So just to rehash you, I forgot, guys. I'm sorry for the new listeners. Just to rehash you guys with last week's episode. Trey and I were here last week. We discussed the hottest topics in the NBA, and it was Kyrie's anticipated return. Ended up, I think he was like 10-11 from the field or 9-10 from the field. They played against the Hawks, but been kind of losing ever since. Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren's beef. Can't wait until they play each other. Hopefully that's on ESPN. Kevin Durant and Perkins Twitter battle. Beetlejuice. That joke had me weak. I literally kept rewinding the podcast and the video every 5 seconds, and then Trey's like, "He's bad. He's bad."
Stop it.
That joke had me rolling. But episode 69 was good, and I hope you guys enjoy episode 70. So without further ado, let's get into the hottest topics of the NBA. But first, it's still a part of the NBA, to be honest, WNBA. So the WNBA and the union reached a new collective bargaining agreement for the WNBA. So I just want to talk about it a little bit more, and this is according to Fox News. So the WNBA and its union announced a tentative 8-year labor deal Tuesday that will allow top players to earn more than $500,000, while the average annual compensation will surpass six figures for the first time. The contract, which begins this season and runs through 2027, will pay players an average of $130,000 and guarantees full salaries while on maternity leave. The collective bargaining agreement also provides enhanced family benefits, travel standards, and other health and wellness improvements. The commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, said this is historic. The CBA guarantees substantial financial increases. The way we are paying these players is different from the past. The top couple players are tripling in pay where they were. Other players are making $200,000 to $300,000. The average will be over $130,000. Everyone gets an increase here. So the principal deal's points have been ratified by the players and league's boards of governors, and lawyers are finalizing the language. The deal calls for 50-50 revenue sharing starting in 2021, based on the league achieving revenue growth targets from broadcast agreements, marketing partnerships, and licensing deals. She said Engelbert, I was adamant of the 50-50 target. The league and players work together to market this league so we can share revenue with the players. We have to hit some targets. So summarizing everything else, I guess the highlights out of this would be the travel improvements. Other highlights: travel improvements where players are given premium economy airline tickets as well as an individual room, as well as individual rooms on road trips. In the past, players flew coach and had to share rooms, which is crazy. A more liberal free agency system that allows players to become unrestricted free agents sooner, beginning next year, if they aren't given the core designation by their team. It also drops the number of times a player can be designated from 4 to 3. Beginning this year and down to the beginning of 2022. Players receive their full salary while on maternity leave. It's kind of crazy how they didn't get paid leave. What? Players receive their full salary while on maternity leave, are given 2-bedroom apartments for players with children, as well as workplace accommodations that provide privacy for nursing mothers. The league is also introducing family planning benefits up to a $60,000 reimbursement for veteran players for costs directly related to adoption, surrogacy, and fertility treatment. And then last but not least, enhanced mental health benefits and resources. So a huge step for the WNBA. Definitely, it should have already been the Mirror League with the NBA as well too, where players are in control and definitely getting that split in revenue as well too. But yeah, what are your thoughts on all this? I kind of summarized everything, but if you had any 2 cents to add, what would you say?
I think one from a progression standpoint, this is long overdue. These are professional athletes. These are, first and foremost, they're women that should be getting paid for what they do at a high caliber level. And anything like women should be getting paid. They should, reap what they have sowed from everything that they do, and that's in any aspect. And I just think with the WNBA, it's coming around so slow. And I understand like you have to generate revenue, you have to, you have to make money to get money to spend money. But why this wasn't worked out sooner, I don't know. I know the league's getting more and more popular, but just the whole with maternity leave, and I know as a country we struggle with these things in the workplace in general. But why wouldn't somebody get paid maternity leave? That's a natural function of of biology. You know what I'm saying? Like why wouldn't that happen? Not even getting too deep with it, but it's a natural function of biology. Like you can't stop that process. I mean, you can make choices to whatever like that. But these women have families. They're just like NBA players that in the same role, with off from to see the birth of my son. But these women are actually carrying and having the children, or even their significant others will be doing the same. So it's perplexing why this hasn't got done sooner. And even with the marketing thing, which is interesting, they were saying like, we're a 50-50 target. We have to like hit our marks to, make sure these players get paid. And the thing is, NBA, you never really see about that. I understand the NBA might be more popular in some ways, more exciting for the average person to say more exciting. But why is my salary dependent on the marketing that somebody else is doing and not just my play?
Yeah.
And it's tough because it's not an equal playing field right now.
Yeah.
And it won't be for a while. Seeing where the NBA is going, where the NBA is at, and see where the WNBA is at. Is this a conservative, strong effort to go in the right direction? Yes, but we can't let things fall through the crack anymore. Why are they having to fly in lower class flights when these are professional athletes? These are high class professionals. Why are they not getting their own room in a lot of ways? I mean, I thought about it like in the NBA, I would definitely I wouldn't care if rooming with somebody, but at the same time, if the bottom line is that people usually get their own room, why wouldn't these women have already had their own room on trips and stuff like that? Why are you cutting corners just because it was women? Like if cut some of the games out, it's not a third, and I know games mean money, but you have to. And that's not my solution. But you have to find a solution that's going to keep getting these women paid, so they could either go find money elsewhere, like overseas if they want to. But you can't keep putting them through lower class treatment just because you can't generate the money as a league.
Yeah,
that's what it is to me.
Definitely agree with you as well too. But yeah, I'm happy about the quality of life being improved.
Yeah.
Like I said, leave is guaranteed. Players don't have to room on their own as well too. 50-50 shares. And hopefully with the increase in the salary, a lot of the WNBA players, they have to, like you said, go overseas while the season's over just to, keep their family afloat, keep making that money. So
and they're playing all year round at that point.
All year round, no rest. And then I heard her saying, oh, well, why can't you be like Candace Parker or I forgot her name, something Cheaty or something
once
like that.
Once in a lifetime players.
I'm like, yeah, they're once in a lifetime players and more remarkable. They're number one pick, and it's I don't know. It's kind of like comparing like, oh, LeBron James is doing all this with his business ventures. Why can't other people do it? You're not LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. Yeah. So it's gonna be something that we're gonna continue to monitor, and hopefully it gets better through time, which is looking like as well too. So equality for all, man, definitely. Yeah. The next topic I want to talk about is Zion Williamson. So Zion Williamson is I guess they're saying he's officially listed as doubtful for Monday's contest against Memphis Grizzlies. But then they also announced the change in the injury report on Sunday evening. But they said don't read too much into it. Don't read too much into it. Williamson is still expected to make his NBA debut on Wednesday night against the San Antonio Spurs, my squad, on ESPN. And let's say if you don't play that game, I think their next 2 scheduled games will be televised as well too, so they know exactly what they're doing.
Bro, they have been on schedule all year this year.
Yeah,
Pelicans have been on schedule all year. They knew what Zion was going to be.
Yes, sir, man. But yeah, they said the debut is going to be against the Spurs. Long anticipated debut. Tip off 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Williamson, the number one overall pick in the 2019 draft, averaged 23.3 points in the preseason while shooting 71% from the field. His original 6 to 8 week timeline for recovery from his meniscus surgery was stretched out to about 13 weeks, and the Pelicans have taken their time with his recovery process and have been adamant that they weren't going to rush him back onto the court. So obviously, we said number one pick. We were high on this guy since he, was able to play with the basketball. We saw what he did in Duke. We saw what he did in preseason. The ceiling for him. There's no ceiling for him, honestly. The only thing that I'm concerned about is his health moving forward.
Yeah.
I expect when he comes back to go straight into the starting lineup. So, and they said I think Drew Holiday is supposed to be coming back too, but I expect for it to be Zoe, Holiday, Ingram, Zion, and probably what's his name? Derek Favors. Now I kind of like JJ Redick just because that adds a solidified shooter. So we're gonna see what they do with Lonzo and see what they do with Drew Holiday altogether. But I'm excited. I think obviously he's not going to play any back-to-backs when he comes back.
No, he's not.
And I think he's going to be on a minute restriction. I say anywhere between 12 to 20 minutes, just little spurts as well too. But what do you expect from Zion when he returns as well too? And do you think this is going to be one of the most watched, player debuts since like LeBron James?
Of course it will. Mainly because, and this is the first to the second half for a topic we'll get to later, because of John Morant's success.
Yeah.
We were high up on Ja. We knew Ja was a killer, but he was drowned out at the beginning of the season when we started talking about everything.
Yeah.
When he paled in comparison to what we thought and what we expect from Zion Williamson, just from his highlights in the preseason, the 360 baseline dunks, him hitting threes and all that stuff like that. So it's gonna be very much watched, even if he only plays for 2 seconds. We're gonna see him touch the ball, probably drive to the rack, but we're gonna have 10,000 storylines from that. And it's crazy because you see a lot of good players playing right now that have had to sit out because of injury. I mean, Michael Porter, Jr. He's having a damn good time, and we still don't get as excited when it comes to him as we like Zion. Like, yo, this dude's gonna come here, he's gonna go crazy. So no, fans will be tuned in for that. He'll make a clear difference. Will he be up full throttle? No, but it's a peak of what's to come as long as, again, the Pelicans don't fumble the bag, they flip it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like whatever Migos said. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time watching him play coming down the stretch of the season. Hopefully they rest him up and just getting back to full strength again,
Right? Say with no Steph Curry, we don't know when he's returning. KD not coming back till next year. No Clay. Like, we're missing a couple stars. No Oladipo. We're missing a couple stars. Yeah. So this is definitely gonna spike the ratings up a little bit more, and I'm gonna be glued into watching that game to see what he does. It's gonna be exciting, man, because it's been a long time coming, honestly. It's been
Bro, it's been a few months.
I just hope he's healthy.
Yeah.
And he can play at least 10 to 12, maybe 15 years. But, we'll see, because if he's on the floor, he's going to be effective.
Yeah.
And it's going to be crazy right now as well, too, which ties me into, my next topic, which is the emergence of Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has been great this year.
Torching it.
Averaging 26, 7 and 4 right now, and he's improved dramatically from the 3-point line. I remember he used to struggle to get his shot up. Now he's shooting 40% from the free throw line, from the 3-point line, and he wasn't that good. As a free throw shooter, he's in like the low 70s. Now he's shooting 86% from the free throw line as well too, and we're really seeing his full arsenal on display right now. So I guess it's kind of a blessing in disguise, when you've been able to be around greatness for a full season, and LeBron James seeing his work ethic, what works, what doesn't, taking from other players' game. He's really coming into his own. The game has finally slowed down for him.
That's what it looks like.
And I love that as well, too. So what are your thoughts on Brandon Ingram's season this year? And I personally think, and you can talk about this as well, too, obviously with the All-Star voting, the fans vote for the starting five from each side. And then they're going to have the draft and whatnot. But the coaches are going to be the ones who pick the reserves and whatnot. And I think, with all these other players out, like we mentioned, Steph Curry, and then also, as we mentioned, Klay Thompson and whatnot, KD's leaving from the West and going to the East, and other players, going to the East as well, too. Mm-hmm. If I'm a coach, he's an all-star in my eyes. But what are your thoughts on everything?
It's interesting because I've been looking at it from a dual lens per se, because it's like, all right, would Kyle Kuzma be putting up those same numbers if he was on the Pelicans? And not to switch topics from guys, it's just, it's like those are the roles. If it wasn't Brandon Ingram, it probably would have been Kuz over there. And
but Kuz have had,
he had the same success, and would Brandon Ingram be successful on the Lakers? So I'm trying to think is it a spacing and an environment thing to where it's like, all right, you can go get your numbers, or is it a player like did Brandon Ingram have more ceiling than Kyle Kuzma, and vice versa? But I think Brandon Ingram, just from his sheer, I think we knew about this coming in. It took him a few years to when growing to his body, the league to slow down for him and find the spots on the floor where he really wanted to go off on. Mm-hmm. He's lanky. He's
young KD.
Very, very similar in a way, and he exploits that mid-range game a lot too.
I'm saying that's the lost art nowadays, which doesn't make sense. But to be effective, you got to be effective everywhere.
And I think what the Lakers really needed, and you've seen in a lot of LeBron James systems, is all you need is some shooters. You want some shooters around them, and if they can't hit that 3-ball consistently, it doesn't look good on their behalf. And I think Kuz has been pretty good from 3 this year, and a lot of highlights I see with Kuz is him hitting threes and them going up like that. But I think as far as flourishing goes and getting your numbers in, I think Brandon Ingram's in the perfect spot, and he's been doing the damn thing. He has the spacing. He's still hitting threes, but he has the full court to work with because his size, they can space him out. They have other guards around him, again, like J.J. Redick and so on and so forth, Josh Hart, that can space the floor. But I think it's a good fit. Alvin Gentry's system of developing young players. Lonzo is hitting the tray ball now too, and he can spread the floor a little bit with him creating his own shots. I think it's a great system for him to be in. 2, I think he's doing everything he needs to be doing this year just to further his success, his stock, and his name. Because I think he should be on the reserves for an All-Star team. He's that good this year.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So, which ties into the next one. You kind of briefly talked about that too. Lonzo Ball. So it's kind of like a love-hate relationship with Lonzo. I've been following ever since Chino Hills before he went to UCLA. Everyone was saying he's going to be like the second coming. And I enjoyed him at UCLA. His dad spoke it into existence. He became a Laker. Obviously ended up getting traded. And it just seems like the last couple of years, he's been injury riddled. So his first year, he had the knee issues. And then last year, we got to see how great defensively the Lakers could be with that young talent with LeBron. And he was one of the best on-ball defenders. And, he started really coming into his own, starting to become a little comfortable. Then he suffered that gruesome ankle injury. And then he kind of had a little injury problems as well, too, this year. But I think this is like the most games he's played, through a big stretch, and he's been playing pretty well. So for the season, he's averaging 12.2 points, 5.5 rebounds, 6 assists as well too. But from the month of January, he's been averaging 16 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. Still got to work on his free throw shot, but he only attempts like 1 to 2 a game. Is at 50% right there. And then his 3-point percentages went up a little bit to about 34% as well too. So obviously, one of the huge contributions to that is a blessing in disguise that Drew Holiday's been out for a little bit as well too. Yeah. So there's more shot attempts for him. But seeing where he can be, it's something great to witness. And like you said, he's an improved shooter. I think he's been working with Lethal Shooter as well too.
Hey, shout out Lethal.
Shout out to Lethal. He's like 2 or 3 of my posts already. But yeah,
for real, shout out to him.
Story before as well too. Yeah, but improved jumper. He just seems more confidence playing within the flow of the game, and he can do it all, man. So if he can continue to be this aggressive offensively, because no one's ever gonna question his defense, but if he can continue to make that shot, work on his mid range, get some floaters in his game as well too, man. That young core with Lonzo, Zion, Ingram, etc. They're going to be pretty solid. So what are your thoughts on Lonzo? And then moving into the next topic, since they all kind of tie together, what are the ceiling for the Pelicans?
To go off on a tangent really quickly and to talk about Lonzo Ball and Lethal all in one, he had a post where he was talking about where Lonzo was getting his shot on Patrick Beverley, and Patrick Beverley was playing good defense, but then he started hacking him. Lethal put out a post that was like, yo, like, play through the contact. You know, this guy, he's not complaining. He's just going to get his shot off. You know, physical is physical. You have to combat it like that. That's the playing field. Once you get engaged with physical contact, you have to give physical contact back. And Lethal was like, yo, parents, teach your kids not to, cry over contact. Just go try to score. And the ref calls it, they call it. If not, keep playing physical. You're going to get the call eventually. Or, the ref's going to get burned at the stake.
Yeah.
But that speaks to everything. I ref on the weekends. So this is a foul to a lot of parents.
That's
definitely.
Wow.
I think it's easiest reffing the high school games because the high school games are they're understanding that it's going to be physical and they understand that we're not going to call it everything. It's easy reffing the small kid games, but when it comes to that middle school range, that where like that's your sunshine and everything like that. Everything is, is that a foul? Or, little Tommy will lose the ball and then he'll flop on the floor and then, and he'll flop on the floor and then he'll be like, yo, like, where's the foul at? You got to call something. I think this is a PSA. Please teach your kids, teach your players to play through contact. If the ref doesn't call it the first time, I'm sure he'll call it the second time. And if not, then you have a reason to be mad, about that contact. But the ref's not going to call stuff if the kid's not being aggressive, and then two, if they're complaining the whole time. Just go play the game. Life happens, basketball happens. Go play the game, go be physical, go be the aggressor. Shout out to Lethal for putting that out there, and shout out to Lonzo Ball tying it back in. All right. Shout out to Lonzo Ball for there was questions about he's not aggressive, whatever like that. You have the most aggressive defender in the NBA right here. And, case in point, dude's not complaining. Dude's going right at him, driving, boom, gets it off, shoots it in his face, and then calls him too little. Which, I mean, Patrick Beverley, he's always going to be on the bad end, I feel like, of plays where he's getting scored on. Yeah. He's going to be on the glorious end of plays where he's getting the stop. Like on that, when they played LeBron he got that block off LeBron, and it was going the other way. That's God level defense. But at the same time, if you get scored on playing that tenacious of defense, it's always going to look a little bit bad. But at the same time, you have to make great shots on great defenders. And that's where Patrick Beverley is. And that's what Lonzo showed me now. He can get his shot off and he can make great shots. And he can create his own offense and as well as shoot the ball well, as well as you already know he's an elite passer. And I think these numbers are right where he should be in a way. And I think the ceiling for the Pelicans, and I think we already spoke about this before, is not this year for them. Zion was out and everything like that. And it's interesting because J.J. Redick was like, yo, don't let me miss the playoffs. If it is, it's on you, Zion, before the season, joking about that. But I think they have a really good setup with the West being how it is. shoot, OKC, who we didn't expect to be doing anything, is smack dab in the middle of the Western Conference. There's spots for them. They have to keep playing. They have to buy into the system, and they have to kind of have a Spurs mentality. It's like we're not going to be maybe 1 or 2, but we're going to play damn good basketball, and we're going to get in where we fit in. We're going to make it to the playoffs, and we're going to keep building on and expounding on the experience that we have. So I think the ceiling for them is as high as they want to work, and we're a few pieces away. You want to be the what? But we'll get into that later.
Player.
Nah, I think that the Pelicans are right where they need to be in a lot of ways. I'm not sure if they can keep the whole team together once it's really time to make a conservative conference finals and finals push. But right now is keep plugging, keep doing what you need to do, and I think good things will happen out of it. Not this year, but definitely next year. It should be a year for them.
So honestly, it really just depends on how Zion Williamson plays.
Yeah.
If he can play to where we think he's going to be, obviously they're going to monitor us out a lot.
That
and
can
like
be
you
scary.
said, that 8 seed is up for grabs. I kind of personally believe that OKC is who they are. They're 24-19th. They're 7th in the West right now. So I think they're going to keep that spot. And then the 8's going to be up for grabs, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in Memphis and what they're doing.
It's tough.
San Antonio, Phoenix, Portland, the Pelicans. So we're not gonna know who's gonna be the AC until probably like the last day of the regular season as well too. But it's gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't make the playoffs, we're gonna see what their young talent is capable of. They can get another draft pick, and then from their attraction, the only thing they're really missing is a very solid big.
Okay.
You got to be thinking, if you're a free agent, I kind of can see myself being that extra piece, that missing piece.
Andre Drummond?
Need to get there. It could be Drummond. They need a body. So we're going to see, but I think the ceiling is they can get the 8th seed. But, my biggest thing is just letting their young players develop even more, get a free agent next year, and then just build off of that, to be honest.
And this is a totally random topic, but the Spurs don't make the playoffs this year. How many more years is Greg Popovich coaching?
Bro, he's looking like he fed up with their bullshit right now. He be looking so mad. Honestly,
I can see him in a leadership role.
I can see him stepping down, probably becoming like a GM or something like that.
2 years max.
I say 1 or 2 years max, and obviously he's taken over the reins for Team USA.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're not competing, then what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? He's on that Bill Belichick, memo where it's like, I expect championship, every year, playoffs every year. So we got a lot of work to do. I think we need to. I don't really like saying this, but we should tank. Tank and
you're not a true Spurs fan. You're not a true Coach Popovich fan. They got foreign players right now ready to go. They got the next Luka somewhere in their program.
We got something, but man, LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar, man, like we got 2 all-star caliber players, and we're not even above 500 right now, which is crazy.
Is DeMar who we thought he was?
I don't know, man.
I don't know if
I'm just ready for the reset, to be honest, because it's like. If we gonna play for 8th every year, like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
It's tough, man. I mean, Rome didn't fall in a day, and you guys had 3 franchise players: Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and it wasn't built in a day either. It's tough. It's a tough one, bro.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So, go Spurs, go, right?
Sheesh.
Go Spurs, go, right? Another trade I just want to bring up real quick. The Atlanta Hawks have acquired point guard Jeff Teague in a 3-player trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Welcome back to Atlanta, Jeff Teague.
That's crazy.
Minnesota also sending guard Travion Grant to Atlanta in a deal that returns guard Allen Crabbe to the Timberwolves. Minnesota creates an open roster spot that would be useful in bigger trades before the February 6th deadline. The Hawks have been scoring the marketplace for a backup point guard to ease the burden of Trae Young. The Hawks have an offensive rating of 108.2 with Young on the floor score, and it drops down damn near 20 at 90.7 off of it. So Teague and Crabbe are on expiring contract, which makes sense. Teague, 31, played the first 7 years of his career with Atlanta, which I just mentioned. And then it said different players play different ways, and I'll give Jeff a lot of credit for trying and doing whatever was asked of him to try to be a good fit in our system. Newell's president of basketball operations, Gerson Roses, said on a conference call with reporters, I think the big picture is just a different game. The way he plays, the system is maybe not as complimentary to him in that we need our lead guard to be the guy who pushes the tempo and is more of a creator than a scorer. Graham, 26, is average 5 points and 3 rebounds. So shout out to them. No real need to comment on that because they're not really doing anything.
Shout out Trevion, VCU grad.
Yeah, for sure. VCU, shout out. Yeah, the Hawks are dead last in the entire NBA right now. Actually, the Warriors are. Then they're right there. So, I mean, do you have any thoughts on the trade they just had? I don't really have anything to talk about.
Oh yeah, man. No. Nah. Keep moving.
That's why I love Trey, man. You never know what to expect out of this guy. One trader that I am happy of right now is Trailblazers. So the Portland Trailblazers have agreed to trade Kent Bazemore, Anthony Tolliver, and 2 future second-round draft picks to the Sacramento Kings in a deal that sheds $12.5 million in salary, NBA sources told ESPN.
Big time forward.
So Bazemore, I didn't even know he had a salary of $19.3 million, and Tolliver had $1.6 million. They're both on expiring contracts as well too. Ariza, Portland's gonna get back Ariza. $12.2 million, has a partial guarantee of $1.8 million on his $12.8 million contract next season. The Blazers will have until June 30th to pick up or decline that option. Portland will also create $7.2 million and $1.7 million trade exception as part of the deal. Both exceptions will expire next January. So this is more so for the Portland Trailblazers because, like we said before, they've been struggling a lot lately, which is crazy. Like they lost Myers Leonard, they lost Ed Davis, they lost Mo Harkless, and obviously Rodney Hood was such a huge piece to them. Like their quintessential 3-and-D player, and obviously Nurkic is out as well too. But
when is he coming back? Is he coming back at all?
I don't know. I haven't seen any reports on him. I looked it up last week, but I haven't seen any reports on him as well. But obviously, they've been injury riddled. They kind of reconstructed their roster. They figured, from OKC kind of in the past, if we have our Russ and KD, so if we have our CJ McCollum and we have our Damian Lillard, then we can always, compete. It's just crazy how last year they were in the Western Conference Finals. Now they're fighting for the A seed as well. They're currently 11th in the West right now. 18-26. So I like the boost with the Ariza because that's what they've been missing as well too. They honestly just need someone to, help guard the best perimeter defenders or wing players rather, and just to create spacing for Melo, for CJ. I can't believe I'm saying Melo right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
for
tough.
Melo, for CJ, for Dame as well too. But what are your thoughts on this trade as well too? And just honestly, just credit to their GM because he just wants to compete. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing anything in his power. Obviously, they're a small market team, so it's going to be hard to get players there. But with what he's with what he has to work with, credit to him. Trying to keep his team afloat and trying to get them to push for that 7th, 8th seed. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the whole trade going down?
But like, if you look at it, dog, you say shout out to him when he wants to compete, but who would have thought that they wouldn't be competing? Wouldn't be in a place of comfort at least.
Yeah.
At this point in the season last year, so it's not a place of him wanting to compete. It's a place of him being like, yo, like, have y'all lost your minds? Have y'all forgotten the standards?
Yeah.
And I've said this all the time, but it speaks to role players. Again, they lost some pieces in the players you named, and they've essentially fallen off because it takes more than just your 1-2 punch to win. And we've seen that with the Clippers. You have your 1-2 punch of Kawhi and PG, who are probably the top 2-3 duos in the league right now.
For sure.
But they have a bench full of dogs. You got Trez, you got
Lou.
Bro, all of them got Danny, right? Danny's on the Lakers.
Yeah.
But you have all of those guys, and it's like, yo, they built their team to support their stars. And if the stars are out, those guys could probably grind out at least, they could be around 500, with a great coach. And I think the Portland Trailblazers have the right structure, but they lost pieces. And Rodney Hood was a tough blow, and him being out for the season. So they needed some revamping this team. They need to survive for at least the rest of the year, and they want to make a playoff push. Do you see them making the playoffs?
I mean, looking at the teams that are like in the hunt right now, because I feel like we're going to talk about Memphis a lot too. I feel like Memphis, although they're in the right direction, I just feel like that the youth will prevail.
Yeah.
The youth will prevail, and that's going to kind of not let them get there. But I think the Pelicans are still working to figure out their identity and groom their young talent. Obviously, you can't count the Spurs, but just looking at what I've seen, unless their schedule gets a little easier, I feel like they're going to miss the playoffs. Phoenix started off so hot, and they're out of it. So if there was any team to make the eighth seed, I think it's a two-way race between Portland and Memphis right now. So yeah, to answer your question, I think Portland would be that. I wouldn't be surprised if they punch in that eighth seed and
Which they should.
Yeah, which they should.
Playing the Lakers though. It's gonna be
4-1.
Lakers and the Clippers for them right now. It would probably be.
What?
About like the conference standing. So if they were the eighth seed, they play the Lakers.
Oh, they play the Lakers for sure.
But
4-1.
Yeah,
they lose a 4-1. They may get swept.
They're gonna
depending on how AD and Bron feeling.
They're gonna get swept. They don't have a big man presence right now. They're gonna get swept.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Who? They got Hassan Whiteside. I mean, it's Hassan Whiteside, I know. And Nurkic may be coming back. We don't know.
That would be a little bit interesting.
Just from like guarding guards in forwards, they suck at that. Like, who's Dame and CJ gonna lock down? Ariza getting older. Like, what is he gonna add to it? Melo don't play defense. Like, he plays defense, but he's not a defensive-minded player. Yeah. So that's just a disaster.
The thing is, they don't want to see any of the top three seeds. Like, the Nuggets got them out the way last
year.
Bro,
they don't want to see the top. I don't even want to see. I mean, their best shot is because they would honestly play 1 through 4.
Meanwhile, Jazz are in 4th. Shout out to Mike Conley and Spider. And Spider Mitchell.
Hurt too.
That's crazy.
That's really crazy.
Spider going stupid.
Mavericks
are chilling. They're gonna surprise some people.
I want to see
that
first
Rockets.
round matchup. I would love Mavericks. To see I would love to see Lakers stay at 1, Clippers stay at 2, Nuggets stay at 3, and then if the Rockets could spike up to 4. Jazz go down to 6. Mavericks stay at 5. I want to see 4-5 seed Rockets, Mavericks first round. Luka and the Unicorn versus that dynamic duo with Russ and Harden. I honestly think I on some sick shit. I honestly think the Mavericks could beat them.
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
Yeah,
2 MVPs losing to a second-year player and a guy who just got off an ACL injury and has been playing like 16 months. That'd be wild, man.
It's scary.
It's very spooky.
Thing is, we don't know what Luka looks like in playoff clutch time.
That is true.
We do.
Some dudes kind of just have that.
But we do.
Factor, though.
But we do. He's been doing this since 16, 17 in the EuroLeague, playing in finals, being the league MVP. I don't think Luka's gonna sweat. I don't think he never freezes. I don't think he's gonna freeze.
Yeah,
he never freezes.
There's just certain players you see where you're just like, yo, they're built for this moment.
Dog, he's one of those guys that like you could be in grass, you could be on concrete, he could have Crocs on. At least it seems like Luka's still gonna get all the buckets he would get.
Yeah,
he doesn't play super fast. He just he shoots in your face. It's a placement thing. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll drive, boom. Boom, extend the ball.
Yeah.
Like, good players understand placement. They understand, and then when it comes to having the athleticism and the knowledge of the game and a comfortable feel for it, then that's when you get super wild and crazy. And Luka is just one of those players where it's like, dog, he's going to get his buckets regardless. I don't see him not getting his buckets, you know?
So. For sure, definitely. Briefly, 1 to 2 minute hash up. So Kyle Kuzma's name has been in trade discussions all season long. Dude can't catch a break. It's just kind of crazy how, last year he played so well, and then this year obviously he had that foot problem, and he's coming off the bench now. So I don't know if it's him trying to adapt to coming off the bench, not getting as much minutes as he used to get. But this year he's only averaging 13, 4, and 1. Everyone's been saying, the Lakers' biggest thing is trying to get that playmaker that they need. And I was just looking at the salary cap. I mean, Kuzma's only making a little under $2 million this year. I'm saying a little under, like that ain't a lot. But in the NBA world, that's nothing.
Not a lot.
So he's making a little under $2 million. So I'm like, y'all trying to trade Kuzma. If you trade Kuzma, you're gonna have to get another person off the books. And I'm looking right now, it's probably gonna be KCP, which is $8 million. But KCP's playing pretty well alongside LeBron and all them as well too. So do you trade Kuzma or do you keep him? What do you do?
Reports of him going to the Kings.
I think there was a report of him going to the Kings, yeah. But
it's a tough one. They're first.
They're first
in
right?
the West.
And people are already panicking. I guess they're looking at the big picture on like the top tier teams that they're playing against. But I like what they have now. Like we said, Darren Collinson's on the horizon. He's trying to come back in February. Andre Iguodala may get his contract bought out right there as well too. So you got some players that are going to be in the market, and with those type of players at this point in time is only about what can they add from a veteran leadership, and then what can you do when it matters most in the playoffs and championships as well too. So I like what they have now. They're the number one seed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously, the first game Kuzma won't there, Rondo won't there, so they didn't play too well against the Lakers. They got blown out by the Bucks this year as well too, but it's the regular season. I feel like when you have LeBron James and AD with that entire supporting cast, Frank Vogel, who's been doing a phenomenal job this year as well too.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, it's a different animal. So I think they're gonna need Kuzma down the stretch. I don't think they panic. I think they got the number one seed. Like I said, you don't panic. Just run the course. If you can get another playmaker via the open market, then do so. But I think Kyle Kuzma, I honestly think he should be researched to the start lineup. Like when I saw Danny Green, LeBron James, Kyle Kuzma, Anthony Davis, and what's his name? Avery Bradley all together on the floor on Christmas Day.
Huge.
They look deadly offensively.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where you have to keep feeding confidence in him, and I think he's been kind of shook ever since his trainer started popping off on LeBron, because that's a death note. But yeah, you got to feed confidence in the Kuzma, and you don't want to send him away and let him turn into another Brandon Ingram. Meanwhile, you guys are having your woes and want another player, and he's being that player on another team. So let it breathe, dog.
Let it breathe. Just want to make a quick little shout out. Don't sleep on the Toronto Raptors. Got the hat right there. Got the jersey right there. They've been going under the radar, man. They've been going under the radar. They're 28-14 right now. Third in the East. Finally healthy. Pascal Siakam just came back. Norman Powell just came back. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now. And any team that goes up against them in the playoffs, y'all should be a little fearful. Nick Nurse is a great coach. Kyle Lowry finally got that monkey off his back. And they're going nowhere but up right now, man. They're very well coached. They play together. They got that championship pedigree. And I think they can compete with damn near anybody in the NBA. So that was my 2 cents.
Okay.
Another thing I want to add as well, too, Memphis, Ja Morant, looking like an early rookie of the year right now as well, too. Pulling up the stats for my guy. He's been going stupid, man. I got to see him play the other day against the Rockets on League Pass. They were trying to disrespect my mans, but he was playing well. For the season, averaging 18 points, 7 assists, 3.5 rebounds. They're in the AC right now, and he was talking his little shit to LeBron. He said, "I'll see you in the playoffs." You know what I'm saying? So
I love him.
I love him. Like obviously, rookie of the year runaway. Yeah. I would say I was a little sold on Kobe White earlier. He was razzling and dazzling right now too. Obviously, Zion's been out as well. Michael Porter Jr. He's not getting that many minutes like that as well too. So RJ Barrett, John Morant, and if they make the 8th seed, that's crazy. But what are your thoughts if you had a quick little 1-minute sum up?
John Morant is the rookie of the year, and further solidified that he is the rookie of the year if they make the playoffs. Because there was no expectation of this team making the playoffs. But to make the playoffs, then it's like unanimously he's the rookie of the year. But he is now. Just it is what it is. There's no other person competing like he is with the team in the place that it is because of him. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
In a quick little 1 minute, shout out to Markelle Fultz, former number 1 pick in 2017 to Philly. Right now, the Magic are 20 and 23. They're 7th in the East right now. He's averaging 12 points, 3.5 rebounds, 4.6 assists. And he's been doing pretty well as of late, you know what I'm saying? Blessing in disguise. I felt like there was too much pressure on him in Philadelphia, and now that he's in a a smaller market, the attention's off of him right now. He can just go out and play basketball. The jump shot's still a work in progress, but he looks like a more athletic Tony Parker right now. The way he can wiggle to the basket as well too. So
sick.
he's gonna be good, man. Will he live up to the number 1? We don't know, but I think he has a chance to become an all-star down the line a couple of years from now as well too. And like I said, the Magic are the 7th seed, and I expect them to make the playoffs because they made it last year. So we'll monitor that as well too. And it kind of makes me think like if Philly would have held on to him, that would have been their combo guard that they were looking for down the road. But I guess we'll see. And Markelle Fultz, I'm proud of you, brother. Last topic of the day that I want to talk about, running out a little bit of time here, is I guess you can start off Kyrie Irving.
You want to be the what? You want to be a star player.
Oh, man. Kyrie. So the Brooklyn Nets guard, Kyrie Irving, said, well, first and foremost, with the Kyrie Irving situation, he just came back. Bruh missed like damn near 95% of the games. And just to paraphrase everything, he basically said that it's pretty clear and evident that we need more pieces. Who did he mention? Because he kind of like singled out a couple players. I think I still got that in my history.
Kyrie's the dude that walks into the gym to play pickup basketball, and there's literally 10 people on the court, and then there's Kyrie, and then you walk in, you see Kyrie, and you're like, yo, bro, what's up, man? Can I run with you next? And he's like, no, I got 5.
Yeah, bro. This shit's sick.
I got 5.
But basically, he kind of, in a way, is dividing his teammates in a little bit. So basically, he's saying, like, yo, there's 12 to 15 players on our squad. I only named about 5 of them. The rest of y'all can go because y'all are not good enough to get us to where we need to be. When you think about it, Kyrie, like, it's just crazy because if you're looking at all these other teams in the NBA, some of them don't even have 2 All-Stars, yet alone 1 All-Star. You got Luka Doncic, who's not an All-Star yet. It's going to be an All-Star this year. You got Porzingis. You don't see them complaining. They work with what they have. That's the whole point of signing a marquee free agent because they're so good that they're going to cover up most of your deficiencies. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, KD's gone. We get that. But let's see how things pan out. You already got a great coach right there. You're in a great environment. You got some great role players. When you're a superstar, KD's a superstar. When you guys come back, now if things aren't playing up to where it's supposed to be, then you can say, all right, we're going to need more pieces. But don't give me that. Like, work with what you got right now. No other team is using excuses right now. You think Dame is using an excuse? He's going out there and balling, you know what I'm saying? In his head, he's like, I'm one of the best players, so it's within my power to do everything I can to get my team afloat right now. Yeah. Come on. We know you're one of the best point guards out there, so I don't want to hear that. And he went on to say that he spoke with his teammates as well, too, and basically said he's going to tune out the outside noise, and he expects greatness from not only himself and his teammates as well, too. But that's just BS to me. Like, come on, bro. And just think about from a player standpoint, like in the locker room, like you just like,
nah, bro. Kyrie, you can't sit with us, Irving.
Yeah, he kind of got that from LeBron as well, too, to be honest. When LeBron used to always argue every year, we need more pieces.
Well, that's a thought I had, and I feel like, maybe it's been so far removed from my mind, but I just feel like LeBron never did it in this way, per se. And if he did, then
he can get away with it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and he got away with it, clearly. But that seems like it's the difference. We already knew LeBron was going to make those moves or force the team's hand and making the moves for him to get better pieces around him
Yeah.
and Kyrie. But I don't feel like LeBron's ever said it in his first game back that, we're a few pieces away.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, LeBron might say it very subtly. There's power to this. There's a language of power. But saying it like that, just like, like me, Kevin, Dinwiddie, straight, but all these other cats, man.
He didn't even mention the
correct.
center, the other center.
It's like, you can't
He's
sit with
actually
us.
playing a little better than DJ, to be honest. He's cheaper.
Kyrie, you cannot sit with us, Irving, bro. Like that's crazy, bro.
I still love the man. I love Kyrie, but
you gotta just bad water, just good water. You can't drink it all. You know what I'm saying? And there's great parts to Kyrie, but this is a bad part. This is like, I understand where he's coming from. Like, we need some pieces to get over his hump. He wants to win, but dog, like this is a way to go about things. And it's not. Yeah. It's nasty.
It's nasty, bro. But like we said, winning takes care of everything. But Kyrie, man, for a guy that's so in touch with the universe and has a great perspective on life, is not, as of right now, viewed as the best leader right now.
Okay.
So we're waiting for KD to come back, and we'll see what happens from there. But we'll see what the Nets do this year, honestly. They made the playoffs last year without KD and Kyrie, with just D'Lo and those boys. So if you don't make the playoffs, it's kind of like, obviously he didn't play most of the season, but it's kind of like, come on, bro. And you in the East.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Kyrie, still got faith in you. Just watch what you say, or just think
Come
what
on,
you say.
dog.
Like, and you're smart enough to know that you are the franchise player as of right now. You still will be alongside with KD. You guys are going to share that. But just know that you're in one of the biggest markets in New York City, and whatever you say, it's going to get played everywhere. So just be mindful of what you say, to be honest. But ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 70 of the Seezus Show.
Dang, 70.
Yep.
Here we go.
Crazy, leveling up. Any last words?
Nah, man. Shout out to Keeps Driving. Shout out Dope Brand, and I'm coming for your brands. So send them to the Seezus Show. Send them to me, Trader XXIV, bro. I got a little bit of extra change, so I am buying as much local and not super brand name brands that I can. So,
Underground brands.
Yeah, underground. I'm trying to support the people that support us and support me. So I'm buying your stuff. So, hey, shout out to Keep Striving. You already know what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 70 of the Seezus Show. Make sure to subscribe at the Seezus Show. Also on all forms of social media as well too. Sir Seezus, the Seezus Show, Trader XXIV. And on that note,